everybody. Welcome to my podcast. I am Leigh Kadooka, sharing more free courses that's on the Great Discovery. Today, I have my awesome friend, Sharon Rolfe, and she has a course on the platform that I think will interest all of us because many of us have some problems with what she's going to be sharing. So Sharon, please share with us a little bit about yourself, what where you live, the city you're in, what part of the United States, and then we'll get into your course. So Sharon, please.
Sharon Rolfe. I am north of Seattle, and I'm 76, and I brag about it because I am a good model image of living a vibrant life. I am a behavioral scientist, and that makes me pretty unique, and I love being unique. And let's see, I grew up on a farm, so you people that are farmers, I milked cows, stacked hay, and gathered eggs. Now in retirement, I teach newly retired singles how to sparkle in retirement. Why sparkle? Because there's so much to live and thrive, and I'm going to help you.
Cool. So Sharon, I know you have an awesome course on the Great Discovery about how you went from being, and I don't mean to offend you, but how to be a bored retiree to a vibrant retired person. Can you give us the name of the course? Give us a little bit of information, and then, maybe at the end of that, maybe we should chat a little bit about being a behavioral scientist, because people are probably wondering, what is that?
Yeah, it's a mystery, isn't it? Well, I wasn't bored for very long because back in the 80s, I ran a conference for singles at my church, and my director had said, after you've done a big event, have something else to go to. So the beginning of January 2016, I was planning later in that year to retire. So it's time to start planning what's next. The feeling he had some downtimes in between some of these events and had lived to tell the lesson that he was teaching me. So the week before I retired, I started coaching school. But I did, after 3-4 months, start bouncing off the wall and said, how do I know if I'm productive? I don't have a boss to keep me that I need to keep happy, and tell me what needs to get done. I had to start doing that.
Well, I beg to differ. You are the boss that needs to be kept happy all the time.
Yeah. And one thing that we don't teach people retiring is that they're in charge of their happiness and they get to live from their heart. You don't always have that chance in your job. It'd be nice if you did, really nice, but that's not often a criteria for getting a paycheck.
So what is the name of your course? You didn't share that with us.
Okay, the name of my course is how to make a marvelous transition into retirement. 6 tips for making sure you don't get off track.
So is this a course that somebody should possibly consider? How many months or years before you retire should somebody possibly consider taking the course? And a family member that has somebody that they know is going to be retiring very shortly, could that be a benefit to a relative or a connection to somebody that's retiring?
Yes, very much so, Leigh. I would recommend either 3 to 5 years before retiring that you start thinking about these 6 tips that I help you solve or recognize before you actually retire. When I retired, even 10 years ago, they didn't teach us. I mean, the only thing they taught us to focus on for retirement was financial planning. Well, financial planning doesn't cover all these other transitions, positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment. All flies out the door when you don't have a paycheck anymore. Hello.
True.
And for those who have already retired, you might notice that they're getting a little sad or stuck or depressed, or 24/7 golf may not be all that meaningful to them, and
Mm.
maybe they've found that their new habits
Mm-hmm.
aren't all that meaningful. So
Yeah.
yes, we all need help.
So
It's called holistic retirement planning, but that's a later program, I'm sure.
I am sure. You're so funny. I love you to death, my dear. So talk to me a little bit or share with our listeners and hopefully our viewers. Hopefully I got somebody watching, but we're working on that one also. But share with our viewers, what is a behavior scientist? What gave you credence or credit for being able to come up with this book or this course?
Behavioral scientist looks at, they're kind of a human relations degree. And I've always loved bringing out the best in people. I'm automatically a encourager and inspire, and I want you to live your best life. Well, these 6 tips might keep you from living your best life. And it starts you on a discovery and maybe even a transformative pathway journey to realizing who you authentically are from your inner spark, your things that you automatically love to do, and that when you're in your flow, it just, there's so many marvelous things that you can express, and we're waiting for you to share those.
Wow. So how did you find your spark with your
uh,
friend?
That's a good question. It actually happened the first week of coaching class. We had to come to class with about 8 exercises already filled out. And we drew on those exercise answers, which were all talking about our inner, well, just it helped us know ourselves on the inside, our invisible sets. They're inside, and they're drawn, these exercises are drawing out what I already know about myself, and maybe nobody's ever asked you. In fact, when at the end of the class, we stood in a circle and read our spark, our essence statement to each other, I kind of sucked in my breath, and I thought, nobody's ever asked me to define my soul before. It was a precious moment. I want everybody to have that kind of experience. This course won't take you there, but it'll make you hungry for it.
Cool. Well, Sharon, we got a couple more minutes because, keeping our podcast going too long, people lose interest. Any final words you want to give, or a couple more, maybe give us 5 reasons why we should take your free course?
Well, the why you should take your free course is that it won't, you will recognize the warning signs before they happen. How valuable is that? It's before you stumble over your own feet that you know what's coming and you know what to look for. Well, one of them is being too busy. Now, your grandkids may be tugging on your shirt to come to their practices and their parties and celebrations, but if you're not living your purpose and living from what matters to you, and yes, your grandkid's birthday party might be important to you, but does it give you lasting meaning? And I'm guiding you through the initial transformative tips that may help you have a smooth transition, but it doesn't
Kind of running out of time. So you want to give us 3 more tips, shorter versions?
Okay,
Please?
well, a tip. Okay, I'll give you a nugget that just means so much to me. It's by Thomas Wolfe, and it says, if one has a talent and fails to use it, one has failed. If one has a talent and partially uses it, you have partially failed. If one has a talent and finds somehow to use the whole of it, they have gloriously succeeded and found a satisfaction few people ever know. I want that for you.
Cool. You know what, Sharon? I think I'm on my track. I am retired. I am 65 years old, but I didn't take her course because you know what? I didn't know she had one. But I am going to go take it now to make sure that I am being my true, authentic self. So, Sharon, I so thank you for allowing me to be late and for coming on this podcast and sharing your awesome, holistic wisdom with me as well as the people who are watching and listening. And guys, if you're driving, don't worry, I will have a description of her course in the description portion of this podcast. So mahalo plenty and mahalo nui loa, Sharon. Thank you so much for being here.
Such a joy, Leigh.